I was reassigned. I went on a battleship to Tennessee and went down to San Francisco. And we had an epidemic of mumps on the ship, and I was one of them, so I went to the hospital on Mare Island. I was there for a while, and then came back up to Seattle, and that's when I got on the Saratoga. I spent the rest of the war on the Saratoga.
Okay, now you're a troublemaker.
Well,
so tell me one of your troublemaking stories of growing up.
Well, there was one incident. Leslie and I were out on the backside of the house. We had a little coaster wagon wheel. Les was throwing it up on the roof and it rolled down and he'd throw it back up. So Dad called Les to come and help him, so Les took off. So I picked up the wheel and I heaved it up on top of the roof. Only I missed it, went through a window. So not being a stupid idiot, I ran in real quickly and told Mom that Les had thrown it through the window, and then he ran. If I remember right, I got spanked over that. Because Mom had heard Dad call and seen Les go. So I didn't get away with it. I never got away with anything.
But that didn't stop you from trying.
Didn't stop me from trying.
Okay, now where were you born?
I was born in Spokane, Washington.
Okay, how long did you live there?
Until 1947. 48, I think.
48? So you went to school there?
Went through all school. Grade school and junior high and high school.
Did you have any brothers or sisters growing up with you?
I had 2 sisters and 1 brother. And another brother that passed away.
What was it like growing up in Spokane?
But was it what?
What was it like growing up in Spokane?
Well, it was nice. We had a nice home that Grandma and Grandpa Baker built. And I was born in the house next door, in my grandparent Baker's house next door. And then my folks built this house, and we lived in that most of the time. And we had fun. We didn't do much except play around there. Once in a while we'd go to the lake. That was really special. And in the fall go out in the valley, and they just had orchards out there then, and we'd get all kinds of apples and fruit. And
just kind of take me through the first little bit of your life up till about when the war ended.
Up till when the war ended. Oh my. Well, I went to Sheridan grade school, and then Libby Junior High, and Lewis and Clark High School. And when I was 16, I got a job at Crest, and until after school I'd walk downtown and work till 9. This was during the war. And then I was involved in church all my life, Sunday school and church. And every year I'd go to Bible camp in the summer. And one year, the pastor talked about that this was during the war, and that the girls should pray for God to save them their future husband. So I thought, well, that was a pretty good idea, so I did. And now I find out that Grandpa was up in the Admiral's nest when the Japanese suicide planes came and hit the Saratoga. And he was clear way up there, and where they could have hit him, and they didn't. anyway, he came home, and then I met him after the war. And then we started going out. But it didn't take very long.
What was your first impression of Grandpa?
He seemed pretty nice.
So he fooled you then?
He did.
He fooled
No.
you. Okay, you said it didn't take very long?
What didn't take?
Going out and all that?
Oh.
How long
Well,
did...
like Arnie said, told his teacher and the class something like 2 weeks before we got married, but it was longer. I think we started going out in February and we got engaged in April.
So
So that wasn't very long.
Married in August, wasn't it?
And married in August, that's right.
So you guys were married in August, so not even a whole year.
Oh, no.
And you guys have been married 48 years now?
Mm-hmm.
So you must have done pretty good.
It must have been.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he fooled you into thinking he was nice.
Boy, he sure was successful at that.
Yeah, he has been a good husband.
I saw her actually was before the war. I was walking down the street with Ray Clefston, and behind us were 2 girls. So I asked Ray, I said, "Who is that?" He says, "Oh, that's Elsie Baker." And that was the first time I saw her. Yeah, she was, I think, 14 at that time. What were you?
About 12.
12? Anyway, when I came back from the war, I started going down there to church. Because I'd been down there before I went, and I went back down there, and that's when I met her. Was that where I met her? No, yeah. And I was the president of our Lutheran League, our Saviors then. So we invited Bethany League up for a party, and I had taken another girl, and I practically ignored her all evening and went for Elsie. And I think she got a little mad at me. Her, the other girl got a little mad at me, but I didn't really care.
So you knew that Grandma was the one you wanted then?
Yep.
Right off the bat. What did you think of her that one night? What was the thought going through your mind when you first saw her walk in?
I can't remember that, but I was glad to see her.
Glad to see her?
Yeah. I had seen her in church before that, so I figured this was a good chance to get acquainted with her. I guess it must have been because it's 48 years, over 48 years now, and she still puts up with me.
Now you're a little rascal.
Oh, was I a little rascal?
And she still put up with you.
Yeah, yep.
So how would you describe the time between when you guys started going out and when you got engaged?
Well, it wasn't very long, but we went out. We had some good times. I was down at her house an awful lot, and Rodney was there, and of course he was always joking about, making some jokes about us. Wasn't that right? Wasn't that right?
Hey,
Oh, you talk.
you can talk.
Oh,
that's
can
fine.
I?
Yeah.
Well, he was invited to dinner once, and Rod was my little brother, you know. And so I'd given him warning he had to act real nice. And so Roland yawned or something at the table, and so Rodney pipes up, "Are you tired? Well, why don't you two go to bed then?" I about passed out.
Kind of tell me about your guys' marriage. What's really made it work?
Love of each other and love of God, I think.
Yeah.
I probably should have reversed those: love of God and love of each other.
That's the key. Just
She's such a nice person that she put up with me.
And he's such a nice person, he put up with me.
So it's just been mutual putting up with then.
Just about.
I guess.
Now I've heard some stories that you guys were pretty strict parents.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard that sometimes you didn't want your kids going up to the top of the street because they could get in trouble. More Arnie than anyone else.
Up the top of the well, yeah.
Kind of explain what it was like having to watch over those three kids.
It really wasn't that hard. They were good kids all the way through.
Now I heard Arnie was kind of a rascal though. I heard he kind of took after you, Grandpa.
He got
Yeah,
into a lot of things,
yeah.
Especially electrical things.
Yeah.
I had trouble with that.
He's always trying something and then going to plug it in.
Yeah.
We caught him a few times in time.
If I'd iron, he'd be right there with the cord and all. And so finally, Grandpa made a board with all kinds of plug-ins and, electrical things that he could do. And so that helped. And then once he almost set our house on fire, he hauled the electric heater in and set it up by our bed and plugged it in and turned it on. And so when I came in, the bedspread was partly burned. So it was one thing after another. Then he threw blocks into the toilet, and Grandpa had to tear the whole thing apart. He finally got it out, got it back together, and he did the same thing again. So we had to take it all apart again.
And this time
so
had
there
trouble.
were times that... And the girls, I can remember once that I felt really bad about because what I did. They were giggling and laughing and everything after they were supposed to be settling down in bed. And so I got the wooden spoon out and I went in and pounded on the bed and I said, "Now you kids stop it right now." And the spoon broke. And I realized what I'd done. I really felt bad.
But they really giggled.
Yeah. And Grandpa'd always, every night, have this little song and dance he'd do for them. Sing "Good Night, Ladies" when they went to bed. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember some of those lines?
But that I'd sing them?
Yeah.
Yeah. The "Good Night, Ladies."
Yeah.
How did it go? Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. I'm gonna leave you now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you do with the money that your mom gave you for voice lessons?
I spent it. I had enough voice. They didn't want any more.
So, how's the last few years been? Just, the last 15 or so that everyone's been moved out and kind of gone away.
Seems like we keep busy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do, but
You'd think we'd get
there's
more.
always been somebody to take care of, I think.
Yeah. And you'd think we'd get more room in the house, but it never seemed to result in that. Of course, we took when my mother was sick, we had her for a while, and we had my dad too. He lived with us after my mother died for a while, and then he went back to Spokane where my brothers lived. And then after her dad died, then we had her mother.
And she had her stroke.
And she had a stroke while she was there, and it's just pretty much helpless.
So it's been a lot of that. So
But no matter how bad she was, she always had a good sense of humor. I used to, just to break the monotony, I used to kind of go around there singing, "Oh, give me a home with a buffalo roam and I'll show you a dirty house." And one night we were getting her ready for bed, and she says, "Elsie, you can go now." and take that buffalo with you.
She was always coming up with some.
She was a joker. Even no matter how bad she felt, she would joke.
Now, Grandma, there always seems to be cookies in the cookie jar. And you always seem to force us grandkids to have at least one cookie.